Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the football podcast. Everybody's here for the football podcast. Yes, that is the name of this podcast. Some people say it's a little bit on the nose. I don't know. You know, could be about knitting. Anyway, Paul's here to lead us through what's going on with the games this week. And Stu and Matt are going to see if they can predict their way to a win for the week, even if their teams might not. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying, you never know. If you're watching us on YouTube, sweet. If you're listening to us, sweet. But wherever you get your podcasts, do subscribe, because it's a big help to us. So here we go. This is CookieCast, the football podcast.
Recording in progress.
The lady is correct. The recording is in progress. I'll hand you over to the glamorous Mr. Paul Williams.
That's right, folks. It's time for another instalment of insert name of podcast here. Yes, it's the football show, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously we're about to moan for the next 30 to 40 to 50 to 60 minutes about the current state of our prerequisite teams that we, for some reason, have chosen to support. No idea why. Welcome along. Yeah, it's all you need to know about the wide world of Hull, Nottingham Forest, and Middlesbrough-based supporting. So, what better place to start than
don't do it. End of podcast.
Well, yeah. What better place to start than by having a look in the mirror and reselecting your football team. But we'll dive in where it's probably best place to start. We'll go straight into last week's football fixtures and we'll see how we got on with our predictions. And let's do that now, shall we? So, Andrew, what was the first game you have listed in your book? I believe it may be Hull versus QPR.
Oh, I was hoping you weren't going to say that, because you are correct. It is Hull versus QPR. Stu.
No.
As a Hull City representative, can you let us know what happened with your team?
No, I can't tell you what happened. I don't think anybody can tell you what happened because they were absolutely goddamn awful.
So who can let you know?
I'm assuming that they actually turned up and played, and it wasn't just the 3-0 sort of scoreline that they give when the game is cancelled for some reason. But Hull did lose 3-0 at home to QPR. The goal scorers for QPR sounds like some sort of innuendo bingo in the sense of it was Willock, Dykes and Dickey. And within that game, Hull City also had Moncur sent off in the 71st minute, but only one of those goals happened after the red card, so it's not even an excuse. Yeah, if you ever want to strap yourselves in for a weekend of all-out disappointment, get yourself down the MKM Stadium. Wow.
Oh, God. I believe Mr. Moore would like to offer up a counterpoint.
Did you get promoted last season?
Yeah, we did, but nothing quite like a good opening day away win, scoring 4 goals and then a 3-0 home thumping to bring you straight back down to earth.
Yeah, that'll do it.
Maybe they'll let us play in League One every week, and then we'll be all right.
All move down.
Yeah, I don't think that's how it works, lads. Sadly.
If we keep playing like that, we will be playing in League One every week next time round.
Picking the people who you want to play each week, wasn't that what the Super League was?
It sounds very similar, yeah. It sounds like a very similar argument. So, Andrew, put us out of our misery then. Who, if anyone, got points for a QPR away victory?
You see, when he says it like that, I feel like he already knows that only one person got any points out of this game, and it was in fact Paul. Because Paul decided not to back Hull. Didn't quite get the 2 points. Fell short because Paul went for a 0-2 or a QPR victory. Fell a little short. But it's okay. Because not only is the only person to have got points out of the score, he is also the only person to get any points for goal scorers. 2 points for you there, sir. And me, Matt and Stu are going to go halves on some locks to go with our bagels. But does Mr. Williams have the right to be this smug? Let's find out by finding out what his team did in their game. Middlesbrough versus the Bristol City boys. Now then, I'm going to give you a little taste here. Points heavy. That's all I'm saying. Paul, what happened in this mighty game?
Well, Middlesbrough decided to do what Hull City could not do. And that was give their home supporters a warm welcome back to the Riverdance with all 3 points in a stellar 2-1 performance.
Indeed. Now then, this is where it gets a little bit tasty. Because, can you tell me who scored the 3 goals in this game?
I can indeed, if I can stop yawning. There was a first Middlesbrough goal for Uche Ikpeatsu. The equaliser for Bristol City came in the form of an Andy King strike. And then 10 minutes later, the winner was another guy scoring his first goal for Middlesbrough. It was Matt Crooks.
First, but not his last, but that's a little taste for something later. So, clearly what happened here was Stu decided, my team's not done overly well, so what I'm going to have to do is get all the points off Middlesbrough for this one. Because somebody correctly predicted the score, didn't they, Stu?
Indeed.
But got a little pot, opened it up, got a cherry out, went like that. By picking Ikpeatsu for a little goal. What I can let everybody know is that in actual fact, everybody got points here. Not in the region of Mr. Woodmansey, unfortunately for us. Just 1 point each, because we all said Middlesbrough for the win. Nobody else picked a goal scorer, unfortunately. So Stu romping off into the lead. I know what you're thinking. Can he keep that lead? Can he? Maybe Matt can help us with that by telling us what happened in the Nottingham Forest AFC Bournemouth game.
I think Forest at this stage were on I think it was either a 7 or 8 games without a win streak, not taking into account the EFL Cup or the Awful Cup or whatever you'd like to call it. And they decided to make it another game without a win.
Yes.
Losing 2-1 to Bournemouth. Bournemouth took the lead. Forest equalised. Then Bournemouth retook the lead. Had one of their main players sent off, and Forest could do nothing about it. A kind of disappointing loss after winning in the cup the previous week.
So, scores-wise, this makes it real interesting. Paul, the only one who wasn't able to commit to a win, went with a draw. Took no points for that, but then correctly predicted one of the goal scorers. Points. Stu, by not backing Forest to win, got himself a little point. Obviously, the Forest fan followed suit and also got himself a little point. There was one man though, one man who knew exactly how it was going to go down, and that is this man. Did not correctly predict the scores or get any goal scorers. I thank you. Now, I hear what you're saying. What you're saying is, so what does the start of the week look like? There sounds like a lot of points going on. Where Stu was romping ahead, as we know, a trickle can be a lot eventually. So, in reverse book order, first half of the week looks like this. This guy, hello, as we all know, 8 points. Not a fan. So just 1 so far. Matt's got 2 points. Currently drawing the week, Stu and Paul with 4 points. Now then. The way we've been recording, certainly the last couple of weeks, it's very touch and go because games are in progress. And as I seem to remember was last week's theme, we were waiting on results at time of recording. We just managed to get all the results in for these games before pressing the record button. And, we're back with Hull City. They took on Derby County. Stu.
Still no.
No, it's not. No, is it?
So yeah, we've second game on the spin, home defeat. Except for this time, it was by a team who could probably just barely field the team. And yeah, we lost 1-0 to a Sam Baldock goal in the 57th minute. Although, take the positives, nobody got sent off this time, so whatever.
Now then, let's face it, nobody saw this one come in. To the tune of 4 predictions, not a single Derby County goal scorer was predicted. So I think we all know where this is going. It's zeros, boys. Coke 0, 0 fat, 0 sugar, 0.
I'm gonna make a bold prediction for the podcast moving forward. Anytime Derby come up in a prediction, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that at least one of us will put Derby down to never score a goal. But I was just about to say, I have to change it to a very specific. Mr. Matthew Moore, anytime Derby are involved, will not be giving him a goal. Ever.
Definitely not wins.
Because they're not in the room.
Also that.
To be fair, we would have really struggled to predict their scorer tonight, considering he wasn't on the fucking team till Friday. Was it Friday, or it might have been after the weekend? When did?
Yeah, I don't think he was in the. I don't think he was signed in time for Saturday, was he? He's only just been signed in time for tonight's game.
They were signed on Monday. Jagielka and Baldock was it who scored the goal? So we couldn't predict that one because unless with some kind of Nostradamus, then we wouldn't be able to predict that one.
So obviously, we've done the section of the podcast where we piss Matt off. We could just dive straight into the section of the podcast where we piss Stu off equally as much, because just to ruin his evening slightly more, on the 73rd minute, Richard Smallwood, captain, was removed, and in his place was Tom Huddleston, that player he definitely didn't want to re-sign with the club that was brought on. So,
I've seen the tweet. Grateful for another chance. Blah 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 blah.
That was Monday as well, wasn't it?
Every day this week has felt like Monday, to be fair, and that the results are not helping. Just I mean, we'll see. There might be more to come from that man later on, but I'll leave that be for now.
So, I'm feeling a theme coming. Middlesbrough took on QPR. I'd love to know what was going on with all the extra time added. At one point, BBC Sport were like, we've got 9 extra minutes, 10 extra minutes, 5 extra minutes. It's like, make your freaking mind up. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We're not here to talk about BBC Sport and their timekeeping. Middlesbrough took on QPR. Paul, are you in a position to talk about this? I didn't know if the tissue was for this area here or here. I'll let you tell the people.
Well, I mean, what can I say? Obviously, QPR travelled into the north-easterly section of the country for the second time in the space of 4 days. Obviously must have had extra beans on their fry-up or extra beans in their coffee or something like that. And they've travelled to the northeast or the northeasterly section of the country, and they've bagged themselves another 3 goals away from home. So obviously they're now petitioning the EFL to see if they can play all of their games away in that region of the country for the rest of the season. Sadly, they scored 3 and Middlesbrough could only score 2.
That's not true.
What?
Middlesbrough did score 3.
We're not doing this, Stu. We're not playing these sick games that you've got. That I've just realised what you're doing to me. You filth mongerer, you. Yes, Stu is technically correct. 3 Middlesbrough players did get on the score sheet. Sadly, one of them was in his own net. What makes this game worse is the fact that the game was poised nicely at 1-1 in the 50th minute when ex-Hull player Moses Odubajo was shown a second yellow card for cruelly and with malice of forethought scything down young Isaiah Jones outside the penalty box when he was streaking in. Not streaking, obviously, that. He was on a tear to get into the box. He brought him down and he was shown a second yellow card, so he was red carded at 50 minutes. The game was poised nicely at 1-1 and QPR managed to score twice with 10 men. Oh my good God. It all started so well as well because after 7 minutes there was a second goal for Big Uche Piazzu. Then obviously came the own goal that Mr. Woodmansey is referring to. Mr. Johnny Houston scored an own goal in the 48th minute. QPR then took the lead with a Lyndon Dykes strike in the 56th minute. There was then an equaliser for Middlesbrough in the form of another Matt Crooks goal, to which I've obviously now commented that for the rest of the season, for any home game Middlesbrough play, just basically get your money on Ikpeatsu and Crooks to score. That seems to be the pattern that's emerging from the early season. And then 4 minutes later, Chris Willock scored the winner for QPR.
So that's in 2-2 games for both Willock and Dykes, because they scored against Hull as well. But Dickie just couldn't get his... he couldn't complete the innuendo bingo hat-trick again.
Oh, I honestly thought you were going to say Dickie couldn't keep his end up.
I mean, I tried, but the words just wouldn't fall in the right order.
Well, yeah. What's that done scores-wise, Mr. Cook?
I was just about to say, now I know what you're going to ask me, what's that done for the scores? Well, I'll tell you what that's done for the scores. Something that I feel might need investigating by an independent adjudicator is when Paul gets the score wrong, puts down a draw, but then manages to get like a good chunk of goal scorers. Somebody will be looking into this momentarily. Paul had us down for a draw, which I'm sure at various points throughout the game would have been worth points. However, did get not one, but 2 goal scorers, so a couple of points there. Stu had Middlesbrough down for a win. Matt had Middlesbrough down for a win. And so did I. The only saving grace there is Matt likes them points. Couple of goal scorers there, Ikpeatsu and Dykes. Speaking of Matt, he follows a particular team. That team is Nottingham Forest, and they went up against Blackburn Rovers. Matt?
Well, I kind of alluded to it before, and, we're on somewhat of a non-winning streak. I've just checked up on the stats. It was 8 matches. It is now 9 matches without a win. Losing 2-1 to the Rovers of Blackburn. And yeah, it's. I was reading. I was reading one of the Forest fan twitters earlier. Obviously, Blackburn took the lead. Forest equalised, and then Blackburn stuck the winner in 4 minutes from time. But during the match, Forest went from having they've been trying to sign left backs. Don't know why. We can't score goals for shit, but we need to sign left backs. We've gone from no left backs to -2 left backs now because one went off injured and the other one got sent off and is therefore banned. Forest lose 2-1 at home. And just if anyone can find odds, because I've been looking for them for the past kind of half an hour or so, if you can find odds on Chris Hughton being the next manager sacked, I saw 19-1. It definitely won't be that high for that long, because if you can find odds, get on them, because 9 matches without a win and it's not looking great would be my less than professional opinion, but yeah, 2-1 loss.
To save me the embarrassment, do you know who scored?
I do, yeah. I'm going to tell you, I predicted that ex-Forest player would score the goals. An ex-Forest player did score the goals, one of the goals, but not the one that I predicted. So it's Daniel Ayala.
That is a name familiar with long-time viewers of the podcast for all 3 teams.
I was going to say, put your hands up if he's played for your team. So yeah, Ayala and Lenihan, Lenihan for Blackburn, and it's Matthew's test of the week. Zinchenko for Forest.
You see, that's exactly how I would have said it. But looking at a footballer's name that's that long with, a Z at the start, I'm like, I ain't even gonna go near that. Because Paul would be like, it's actually pronounced.
It's called Dave.
I think you'll find you will be going near it, because anytime you need to go for a default Forest goal scorer that isn't Graben, I believe that will stick in your mind for the next time you need to pick
that moment when you're like, I need a player to predict. Or, Johnson, because, it's Johnson in it, so.
Yeah.
Bingo.
It's very much a... Well, everybody predicted that Forest would win this, apart from the Forest supporter. So he got points. And that was it. So, first half of the week, good, healthy number of points, goals, goal scorers, predicted well. Second half of the week, not that many. We had an entire game predicted with zeros. Another game predicted where only 1 point was allocated. I know what you're saying. What does it do for the week? What it is for the week is this. I managed to close out the week with 1 point. I feel like I'm starting like I'm probably going to go on. I'm going in reverse order. Stuart, your 4 points you gained in the beginning of the week is what you ended with. Matt, 1 more point than Stu on 5. Which means our winner for the week is Paul Williams. Crushing it in all walks of life. What that means is we get to find out what Paul team's going to do with Stu's team's sloppy seconds by diving straight into Derby County versus Middlesbrough. The way we do our predicting is, if it's your team, you get to predict last. That way you can listen to everybody else talk about how great or not your team is going to be this week, and then you get to make a decision at the end. Whilst completing the book, I've written down what I think is going to happen, and I'll just pepper those in as and when I see fit. But not this time. This time, I'm going to the man in red. Stu. Derby County versus Middlesbrough.
Well, I've got something written down, but I might change this on the fly. So, we played QPR, they scored 3 goals. Borough played QPR, they scored 3 goals. Derby played Hull, they scored 1 goal, so therefore Derby will play Borough and score 1 goal.
Interesting. So you're going 1-0 to Derby?
Not quite, because I also have Middlesbrough down to score 1 goal as well. So I'm not writing them off as much as we have been. So for the Middlesbrough goal, he's on a tear. Stick Uche Piazzu down again. He's already shaping up to be probably the most important player in that season so far. So we'll go with that. However, for Derby, if I'm going to go on that theory, man, did you say that the time Jagielka?
Yes.
Will he play? Will he play against Borough?
Yeah.
Can he hack 2 games in the space of 4 days? I mean, he's 39 or 40 or something like that. But I mean,
Just got a choice.
He hasn't got anyone else who can play.
Just because I don't want to be really harsh, stick Philip down in the book. Because Jagielka's got all kinds of craziness going on. So I'll go Phil Jagielka to score, but if you stick Phil down, we know. Big Philly style.
Okay, I have gone a 2-0 to the Borough. A name that's going to be seen a lot by the sounds of it is Ikpeazu. I won Watmore. This is the point where Paul tells me he's not playing.
So he's missed the last 2 games, but I think there's hope that the whole point of him missing the last 2 games is that he would be fit again for the weekend. So he might play.
It's good enough for me. I'm sure I'll be getting lots of points out of that game anyway. Matt.
I have gone 3-1 to the mighty Borough.
Okay. Let's do this. Who's scoring them there goals?
I've got Derby's goal is Ravel Morrison.
The
They'll
old boy.
They'll get a game or 2 out of him before he goes and gets off his tits on something again. So, he's played for like 13 clubs and he's only 28. It's mental. And then getting the Lewis Grabban Memorial Award, Ikpeazu with a double. And then just to kind of throw in somebody else just in case, Crooks for a goal.
Paul said we were going to use those in case of a home game, though.
I mean,
go on then, Paul. Tell us how it's really going to go down.
well, as previously discussed, I will be there in person to watch this game. So this will be my first foray into live football this season. I'd like to think they'll have enough about them to be able to get a win. So I will go for also 2-0.
Interesting. Scorers?
I think it's a bit too much to ask for either Ikpeazu or Crooks to score for a 3rd game in a row. So, stick me down for Houghton to sort of correct his mistake from this evening by bagging one. And I think there could be a first goal for Payero.
Okay. There we go. Now we find out what Stu's team's going to be up to by seeing how they deal with Fulham. I've got Fulham versus Hull City. Just throwing it out there. Just getting straight into it. A Hull City win. Yeah, why not? Why not?
Why not?
It's well known.
Have you seen the results?
It's well known.
Not looked at the table recently, Andrew.
Okay. It's well known that I hate points. I hate points. So, I feel this is the best way to go about it. Just start throwing around crazy score predictions. I've got Lewis Potter and Wilkes to score 2 lovely goals. Matt.
I've gone with form. To be fair, and I've gone 3-0 to Fulham.
Goal scorers.
Mitrovic with 2. And this is where I'm worried that I've not kind of thing. I think it's Carvalho.
So they've got a couple, haven't they? They've got a Carvalho and they've got a Cavaliero.
And they've both scored recently as well.
And they have both scored within the last couple of games.
I think it was perhaps in the same game.
Yeah.
Carvalho. Yeah. Carvalho, yeah. Carvalho.
It's in the book. Paul.
This might be the section of the podcast where Stu might want to close his ears. I'm gonna have to go one better than Mr. Moore. I think it could be a bit of a thump in this one, unfortunately.
Oh, yeah.
So I've gone for 4-0. Oh,
Stuart Woodmansey has left the
not
chat.
only did he close his ears, he shut his podcast down.
Just jokes.
But yeah, I would like to put myself down for a Mitrovic hat trick.
No.
And you might have to put it down as Decordova Reed. Or just Reed.
I was going to say, I'm just going with Reed.
Yeah, that's fine.
Come on, Stu. Tell these guys how wrong they are.
I'd love to, but they're not. So I've gone slightly more optimistic in some respects, but I've still got Hull to lose 3-1. Matt absolutely stole my thunder with the goal scorers because I've got the exact same goal scorers as Matt. So Mitrovic for 2 and Carvalho for the third. And as we brought him up earlier on, and as I have a bit of a dislike for him coming back to the club, he might as well make himself useful and try and at least get me a point in the predictions. So he also scored quite a famous goal for Hull against Fulham back in the Premier League days. So why not? Good enough time for Tom Huddleston to get off the mark. Pull your finger out, lad. Get your hair cut.
Okay. So, we've had a bit of Borough, we've had a bit of Hull. Surely all that's left is Stoke City versus Nottingham Forest. We're in a bit of a tricky situation here because the person that I would have gone to for this has decided to abandon us. So, I can tell you what I think. I think Forest are getting a win. Because I'm an optimist. I'm not an optimist at all. I just like putting down the home teams to win. They're only going to score 1 goal. But Lolly's going to get a goal. So Stu, you're going to have to pick up the slack as Mr. Williams has abandoned us and give us your prediction.
Well, he's been called worse, to be fair. So, I am, unfortunately for Matt, not as optimistic as you, Andy. I have gone with a 1-0 Stoke win. From what I've seen of Stoke so far already this season, I have a horrible feeling that they're going to be there or thereabouts, playoff-wise, potentially. So I see them winning this game because I have no other theory of picking a goal scorer. I've picked a name that I recognised in the lineup, so I've gone with Mr. Sam Klukas, who is a former Hull player. So I know that doesn't fit the theory of all boys for Forest scoring against them, but yeah, I'll go with the ex-Hull player on this one.
As he is still... Oh, no, he's there. Look at him. He's right there.
Suspense.
Right there. And as he's returned, he can give us his prediction for Stoke City versus Nottingham Forest.
Yeah, so in the same vein of the whole thing with Stu, I think this is the section where Matt might want to close his ears. I As strange as it would sound to say that I didn't think Forest could open again with like 4 straight losses, which I think they might have done at the start of last season. I don't really know. I think this could be another one where they're going to get a bit of a pasting. So I've gone 3-0 Stoke.
Jesus, didn't think it would be that much.
Goal scorers.
Now I'll have to check this one. But I would like Nick Powell for at least 1.
Do you want to put a number on that? Oh no, just, at least 1.
Yeah, just give me up for Powell to get 1.
But if he scores 2, he did say at least 1, so we can give him that one as well. So that's 2 points.
But then that's like putting an each way bet on, so he only gets a reduced amount of points.
Now, I believe I may have overheard Stu say ex-Hullman, but was he talking about Clucas or Timon?
Clucas.
Did Josh Timon used to play for Hull as well? Or I just made that up?
Not when I've seen them, but that's not to say that he hasn't, because obviously I was missing for a period of time thanks to the Allams, as we discussed on football podcast previous.
Stick me down for Timon. And
he's actually from Hull, so and yes, but he did play. He made 5 appearances for them.
Yeah, I didn't think he was like I thought they signed him maybe like not from the academy as such, but he was a young lad when they got him, I think. So Powell, Timon, and Surridge. Please.
Okay, over to you, Matt.
I'm wallowing in my pessimism at the moment, so I've also gone a 2-1 to Stoke. I don't know. We seem to be scoring a goal, but just conceding 2 every match. Which seems to be the kind of thing. So I've gone Powell and Surridge for Stoke. And, Johnson for Forest. And if Stoke are good, it's going to be up there with Derby being good. I hate Stoke.
Don't think you're on your own there either.
It's just miserable.
What about Arsenal fans love Stoke?
Is that because they're just happy that they're not Brentford when they realise the kit's the same but the team's different?
Pretty much.
So, as has been the way recently, we've had not only a week's worth of games to predict, but more games on top. Looks a little thinner on the ground this week from what I saw. I only managed to find the one game. So if talking about Nottingham Forest was not enough, we get to talk about them again as Nottingham Forest take on the Wolverhampton Wanderers. So, Stu.
Again, obviously Matt's still switched off from when Paul suggested that, so just maybe look away now if you if you're upset by the score.
I joined in.
Yeah, you did. I do agree with Andy's prediction from earlier. It's about time Lolly got himself on the score sheet. So they're at home. I'll give them a goal. So I've got Lolly to score 1, but for Forest. But unfortunately, I have got Wolves to score 2. Picking the Wolves goal scorers in a cup game could be tedious because they might essentially change the entire side. but I've just gone for players from the first team on the off chance. So I've gone for Traore and Neves.
Okay. I've gone for Forest to win, obviously, because I'm a lunatic. It comes every season basically. I just hammer the team to win and win and win and win and win, and then eventually what happens is I say this will be the last time I'll be picking Forest to win if they can't sort their shit out. Fair warning. I've gone 1-0 with Taylor to score. Paul.
1-1.
1-1. And who's scoring those goals?
Mighton for Forest. I'll have to check. Is it? I think they've got a young strike. Well, I say young. He still costs them like the best part of 30 million. That's like that. I think he's called Fabio Silva. Let me just double check though.
You thinking the squad rotation's coming in then?
Yeah, I don't think they'll risk Jimenez up top because he's only just come back. Fabio Silva, please.
Okay. Over to the Nottingham Forest fan to round us out for the week.
I've gone for a Wolves 3-1 win.
Scorers.
For Forest, Carvalho.
Okay.
And for Wolves, I looked at their squad from Saturday and just picked names off the subs bench. Marquez 2 and Campbell 1. Their squad numbers are in the 70s. I'm bound to play in the EFL.
Oh yes.
EFL Cup, yes please. 75 and 78, I think their squad numbers were. So I was like, yeah, get them on.
So, to my knowledge, my limited knowledge, what that does is finish the predictions for the week. I was going to word that differently and realised that it was going to sound all kinds of wrong. That finishes the predictions for the week. I believe that will bring us to the any other business section. So I offer that out to you, gentlemen, because as we know, I never have it. I kind of did have some like news stuff, but we don't do news anymore. So I guess
This would be the perfect place to bring it up then.
I saw some. It's not. It was something about Spurs. So it's not even, but the local newspaper had assigned their football correspondent, their football reporter, and Spurs have refused them a press pass. So that's nice of them.
Sounds about right. That's happened in the North East before. I think the Northern Echo was once banned from Hartlepool United games. So normally where they'd submit like photos of the game, apparently they were getting like artists' rendition sketches of what they thought had happened in the game.
Well, yeah, but the surely like the court artists are quite well used up there anyway. So
Wow.
Just remind everybody that I am the Hull fan, so
I was just going to say
stones and glass houses.
Viewing and listening figures in the sort of Hartlepool TS postcode just go absolutely plummeting through the floor.
Or through the roof because somebody's like, "Here, have you heard this podcast that keeps talking about us?"
I think Newcastle Lee Ryder, who was like the beat writer for the Newcastle Evening Chronicle, he was banned for a while because he talked shit about Mike Ashley. I mean, if he's going to do that, then he might as well ban most newspapers. And Billy, I forgot his name now. Billy Davis had people banned from Forest as well for a while. Again, for talking shit about him as well, because thingy. But I think it turns into a quite commonplace kind of thing. It's trying to keep people on side. The only other, there you go. That was it. The only other kind of thing we kind of continued it on from last week with Messi leaving was then the Barcelona president announcing that they're 1.15 billion in debt, which is it's mind blowing, and it's I know we've talked about it several times, but it's just the story that keeps on giving, and it's just, I mean, it just shows how ruined football is. You know, one of the biggest clubs in the world, and they're 1.15 billion in debt, and there's just and then they're trying to sign players. It's just mental. It's absolutely mental.
The thing with that is, surely when someone in the sort of finance sector said to them, "Oh lads, we're £250,000 in debt here," would they not sort of thought, it's quite a lot, that. Should maybe try and do something about that? And they're just like, nah, it'll be fine. We'll just let it increase by almost 5 times that before we start to do anything.
But I suppose it's that thing, isn't it, where once you've signed a contract with a player, you can't do anything about it. You sign a 5-year contract with a player, it's like, right, we need to not pay you anymore. And they're like, I think you'll find that's a legally binding contract, and no, I'm not going anywhere. The other mental thing that I saw was that if they would have signed Messi to the terms of the contract that he agreed to, but if they'd done that before he became a free agent, they would have been able to sign him. But because he became a free agent and they were signing him effectively as a new player, couldn't sign that contract. So, congratulations, you are one of the richest clubs in the world, but also apparently one of the worst run in the world. And that is saying something, because between us 3 or 4, we could give shining examples of poorly run football clubs.
Well, my football club almost went out of business 31 years ago. So, no, that's terrible maths again. 5 years ago. We've all been that guy. It's shocking.
Anything else, gentlemen, before we close this one down? Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for helping these people get through the weekend and coming week's games with all of the possible information they could need to make the right decision when betting a lot of money on football. I will see you all next week, I'm sure. But until then, I'll say bye, bye, bye-bye.
Recording stopped.
So there we go. What do you think to that? Another one done. If you watch us on YouTube or just listening along, it's all good. It's all good. Do drop comments to wherever you're getting your podcasts. You can jump over to thecookiecast.com, get some contact details or social media links or things like that. Just let us know how you're getting along and that you're subscribing to the podcast. So that's it for this one. Till next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then. Bye.